get high, so high. I want to get high, so high.
Okay, so let's start from the beginnings, and then we're gonna go further. So could you tell me what was the beginnings of OBF? So from where reggae came and where was the interested in your point of interested in reggae music and how it looks like back in the days?
I grew up in France, just near Geneva, and Geneva had important reggae scene. First with some like reggae artists, Jamaican artists, you know. So when we used to go out, it was for some reggae concert and things. And then we had a strong and rich underground scene in Geneva, squats and alternative place, you know. So in this place, it was more the sound system culture. So we discovered that with some Geneva promoters who brought some Jamaican artists and UK artists. So that's how it started, early 2000 or something.
And you mentioned that there was a squad scene back in the early days of yours. So what kind of music there was playing on the squads, and if there was a like a sound system that was your first, you know, just think with the sound system first experience.
There's all kind of music we're playing in this kind of squad. I mean, we used to go in a squad named Le Goulet. They used to organize some reggae and hip hop dance, you know. But we used to have many squads organizing some rock or theater or electronic. But we used to go to the one, I mean, to the one named Le Goulet. And then later, we had our own squad where we're living with people, and then we started organize some sound system session there with audio activity and OBF, joining two sounds to make it a bigger, you know. But it was a small scene, really small scene.
Because in dub right now, in dub culture, dub scene right now, especially, is like very popular, very common is the do-it-yourself philosophy, and you also as a perfect example because you are making your own dances, you're making your own sound system from the scratch. So could you tell me from where you was looking for the information while you was building the sound system? You know, if you have a, like, I don't know, somewhere you gain the knowledge, you know.
Yeah. I mean, we just follow the Jamaican tradition as they used to do it before, building their own sound with some piece of wood. We didn't have a lot of money, and so we have to find some, you know, piece of wood and cheap amps there, cheap deck there, CD player and shit. And for the information and details about how to build your sound, it was just the beginning of of a common internet. So I don't remember exactly, but some friends, or I mean, we had some friends around, and we were lucky to have some good friends who told us and gave us some tricks and some tips to build the sound.
Okay, and what about the session, the monthly session that you make the Caliph Hotel in Geneva? Could you tell me about that?
So this was the squat where we used to live in 2002 till 2004. Then now we got a monthly session in Geneva at l'usine in the zoo named Dopquake and Top Ranking. Top Ranking is more reggae. I mean, we take the reggae as a roots and then explore the branches. And Dopquake is more a sound system session, UK dub reggae, you know.
Yeah, man. Okay, and could you guys describe me what is dub for you? What dub means for you? What is dub for you guys?
Dub music, it's reggae. You take a reggae separate track, separate channel, you know, not from a tape. Yeah, you can use tape or computer, yeah, and then play with the rhythm, deconstruct it, reconstruct it, remix it, experiment. You know, there's no barriers or frontiers. You know, you just like you have something in your hand and you just experiment as they used to do before. We're still doing we're still doing it now in a different way because we got new effect and shit and new tips. But that's my vision of the dub.
Talking about the definition, so what about the sound system or sound system session? What is your, the point of view about how you could you describe to somebody?
Sound system session, how to describe it? Waking up at 7 a.m., go to the supermarket, take the van because you rent it. The crew arrive to the headquarters, packing up the van, yeah, driving for 6 hours. Arrival at the venue.
Depends. In Poland, it's like
Yeah,
16,
yeah,
16
Poland is 16
hours driving.
But I just doing a quick, driving for a couple of hours, then arrival at the venue, setting up the sound, stringing up the sound, testing the sound. All the artists coming, their turn to the sound check and things. Be sure everything gonna be alright for the night. Quick dinner, and then ready for the night. And while everyone is going back home, it's time for us to work again. Packing up the sound system, a few hours of sleep, and driving back for a couple of hours, and then packing out the sound of the van. It's a hard work, so you have to love it. It has to come from the heart.
It's like a DNA.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also play a lot of many times in UK. And what is the main difference between UK scene and the French scene, which is like French is right now like getting bigger and bigger in case of dub and sound system culture. So what is like, because there is for sure there is some difference.
Yeah, there's some difference, of course, concerning UK got a strong Jamaican tradition and Jamaican people in Jamaican community in England who teach the UK people, English people, or wherever they're from. They teach them since the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. So it's been a hard job for them because of it was not easy for the Jamaican to play their own music in England back in the days, So, but after some years, this generation, they know about the Jamaican culture, Jamaican music, Caribbean influences, That's the difference with France. We got a Caribbean community in France, of course, but it's more it's more dancehall vibes. The community in England are different background, from roots, lovers rock, rocksteady, dancehall, dub, and then invented the UK dub, mixing the European culture, Jamaican culture, and So that's the main difference. They have the Jamaican community, and it's where all began,
Generally, the crowd it's much more open in England musically than in France. Yeah. I mean, in France, the people who are coming in the dance, they want to hear strictly dub, reggae dub music. And in England, we play a lot like in more open events, like with dubstep and drum and bass and these kind of things. I like it.
And also talking about the French scene right now, it is said in Europe that French is becoming the dub heart of Europe, and the dub scene also is like growing. It was exploding from some years ago, and still like growing and growing. So, what is the point of view about that? Because it's even said that France is slowly but surely taking over the Great Britain as well in case of the dub music.
I'm not sure if France gonna take it over the UK, because UK is the original mecca, yeah, of sound system in the European side, yeah. But France,
No, the biggest crowd now is in France.
yeah,
to tell
the
the
French
truth.
are doing really
biggest
good at the
crowd.
moment, you know. Good crowd, good people, and
Lot of festival, lot
yeah,
of event everywhere.
dope festival everywhere, dope scene there, dope corner,
Sound
there's
systems
sound system corner
everywhere,
over there,
everywhere.
here, left, right, everywhere.
And
And
it's the new thing.
and you know what? And they start to, I mean, realize that the reggae is linked with the dub music, you know. True.
Yeah, some people. They just realize now that.
Okay, so the last thing, I saw that recently you was working with Irish and Stepas in studio. So could you tell us a little bit about that? If we can tell about that.
Yeah, it's mad. You know, when I was a young man, I was listening Irish and Stepa, yeah, you know, playing them vinyls and things. And 15 years later, we together in the studio, we got the same vision. Mark and Dennis have always helped us, you know, in the sound system scene. Yeah, it was, you know, full of vibes. It just vibes in the studio. We're not thinking too much of how we're gonna try this key, yeah? And then it's like, pom, 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 pom. Yeah, it's like naturally, you know, just vibes. So we build tunes.
So there will be any album coming from that?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When can we expect it then?
Some
This year or next year?
next year. I think next year, if everything is alright, we're gonna plan a tour next year.
Together with Irish and Stepas?
Yeah, OBF Irish and Stepa.
Everything is coming.
I think it's gonna be a real dub experience. You know, we're like warrior style. Some steppers, some one drop. We kept it
Some
like
wicked
raw.
tunes, trust me.
Shanti knows it. We play a couple of. I mean, we just tested some. Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
We happy.
okay. All right. So thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
Dziękuję. Dziękuję.
Dziękuję.
Dziękuję.